Hello, hello, and welcome to the Six Figure Society Six Figure Summit. This is day two of our time together, and I am so excited and honored that you all are able to join us today. If you were able to tune in yesterday, then you know that you are truly in for a real treat today. I'm very excited about the information that is going to be shared in order to help you grow your business. So I'm just going to start off with a quick introduction to give you a little bit of information about the Six Figure Society and about the Six Figure Summit. After that, we are going to hop right into our presentations that we have scheduled for this evening that again will focus on helping you to grow your business. As you join in today's broadcast, please say hello and let us know where you are tuning in from. You can do so by using the chat function that should be located below your screen. Please get engaged by telling us what you are looking forward to the most from tonight as we talk about how to grow your business. You can also share this link to social media. You can share to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media platforms by clicking the share button that is located below this video. When sharing to social media, we ask that you use hashtag the Six Figure Summit and that you tag the Six Figure Society. So, welcome to the Six Figure Summit presented by the Six Figure Society in partnership with Brittany Smith Creative Company. My name is Tiffany Gillespie, and I will be your host for this virtual event. I am a serial entrepreneur and owner of T3 Diversity Solutions, which is a management consulting firm. One of the divisions of this consulting firm is known as the Six Figure Society. The Six Figure Society is a community designed for business owners who want to make their first six figures or their next. Through this community, we have helped clients from the startup phase through grossing over $250,000 annually. So no matter the size of your business or your level of experience, there is a place for you in this society. A few months ago, God gave me the idea to host a free virtual summit for aspiring business owners who are looking to start a new business or to formalize their hobbies. This summit was to also focus on helping current entrepreneurs to grow and or scale their businesses to their next six figures. So whether you are just starting your business, launching your next idea, or you are ready to scale up, we have assembled a group of dynamic leaders and experts to help you secure your success. Are you ready to rebound in 2021 but unsure of how to do so? Are you tired of struggling with reaching your first six figures or your next? Do you have the systems in place to attain and sustain six-figure revenue? This virtual summit will provide you with the secrets and strategies from real women who have experienced every stage of the six-figure journey. So without further ado, let's get into tonight's focus. Tonight, we will have two workshops, one discussing how to create offers in your business to get you six-figure revenue, and the other is going to focus on storytelling through your content. One of the hardest parts of my business journey was growing my business. I think that most successful business entrepreneurs would tell you the same. It absolutely takes something different to grow your business than it does for you to start it. The second day of the Six Figure Summit is focused on two things that will help you to grow, which is developing valuable offers in your business and effective storytelling that you can convert to coins. If you are trying to figure out how to grow your business to its first six figures, then tonight is for you. I am going to bring our first presenter into our virtual space. She will introduce herself, and then we are going to get right into her lesson for tonight. All right, Miss Shy, how are you?
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I hope that you are doing good and that you are ready and excited for tonight. I know that you're prepared because I've seen your presentation. I know that you know what you're talking about. So I'm really, really excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I popped in yesterday and the ladies did an awesome job. So I'm just excited to be able to kick off the new year
Yeah.
talking about how we not only can create businesses, but kingdom businesses and how we can make them sustainable and be able to help and share with others.
Absolutely. That's the mindset, that kingdom mindset. All right. So, for all of you all who are viewing, again, I ask you and remind you to please share this broadcast to your social media platforms and make sure you are using the hashtags and tagging the Six Figure Summit. Shai, what I'm going to have you do is to just tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll transition into your presentation. So, can you tell the people a little bit more about you?
Yes, so my name is Shy Arnold. I am located in Buffalo, New York. I am a business owner of my consulting firm, SB Administrative Consulting Services, and I am also the owner of a nonprofit called For Grieving Daughters. We serve women and young women and women who have lost their mothers and just need a safe space to process their grief and to be able to shift their pain into purpose. So I am also a mother of a 5-year old little boy. So, homeschooling has been very ghetto with running a business and working full time. But I'm just grateful that we're able to bless and that my business was in demand during this pandemic.
Yes, bless God for an in-demand business, and we're going to get into more of what you just shared during our Q&A session. So, for all of the viewers, again, I am going to toss it over to Shai for her to do her lesson and presentation for tonight. Following her presentation, I'm going to ask a series of questions that you all submitted when you registered for this event. So, last night we ran out of time for questions because there was just so much information to cover and talk about. So I'm hoping that we can get through all of the questions that you all already asked. If we get through all of those questions, then I will open it up for a live Q&A. But like I said, we're going to go through the questions that you all had already submitted. So, without further ado, please welcome Ms. Shai Arnold, CEO and lead consultant for SB Administrative Consulting Services. All right, Ms. Shai, you can take it away.
Thank you, Tiffany. So, hello, everyone. Again, I am super excited to be here and to be able to share a little bit of my journey. I am going to be presenting on developing your six-figure offer. So, as I mentioned, I am the owner of SB Administrative Consulting Services. Sometimes I go by SB Consulting. We are an administrative consulting firm where we really focus on strategic planning and project management for minority small businesses. I started this journey 4 years ago, actually just straight out of grad school, because I saw that there was a void in my local area for administrative consultants. And so what I noticed is that small businesses didn't understand the value of hiring an administrative assistant. They didn't understand how to take care of their administrative needs for their business. And what I always say is that if you take care of your business needs, especially the administrative ones, it'll take care of you. And in a time like COVID, that has proven to be true time and time again. So at first, I started with being an administrative assistant, then training other administrative assistants. Then it came to the point where now I just do strategy and I do project management for affluent six-figure businesses. So I want to talk in this section about who I am, how I'm qualified, and what my journey has looked like a little bit. So I also work full time at a wealth management institute, and I, in that role, act as a corporate consultant for minority owned businesses as well as some wealth management products. Within that role, I've been able to advocate to say, hey, we really need to pay attention to the minority business owners, specifically African American business owners. We know that the female entrepreneurs, African American, are the fastest growing. So let's make sure that they understand their purchasing power, they understand the resources that we have to offer, even before, they're at that invested amount, that they know how to plan, how to sustain legacy. I also am an educator in regards to diversity and inclusion. So making sure, once again, that when we are in that space, there's a seat for us at the table. We're pushing out seats for other people who look like us and that the representation is there. And lastly, I use my corporate relationships to leverage and close the gap between affluent small businesses, helping them understand where corporate needs them and where they need corporate. And that's just how I like to introduce myself, as a purpose-driven individual who really is just a corporate thug and will never forget to be able to leverage relationships for small businesses. So what we're going to talk about today is 4 things. We are going to talk about how to develop your 6-figure offer. I'm going to come from the perspective of product versus services. When you are a product owner, understanding how to calculate your offer and what the power of 4 means. If you are a service provider, we're going to talk about how basically you're trading your time for money. A lot of people struggle as service providers. I've been there. It's been times where I didn't know how to price myself. And then there was times where when COVID happened, I had to figure out how to reprice myself because the demand was so high. And again, working full time and having a value prop, I needed to make sure that I was in front of actually the right audience with the right packages, the right prices, because my audience range from people who are just starting a business to people who have 7-figure businesses. And then lastly, an example of developing a 6-figure offer with just one service and one product. So I know a lot of times we feel like, we have to master everything, or we want to scale up our business to be able to get to that 6 figures. But to be completely honest, COVID taught me I actually needed to scale down my business, and I just needed to offer a greater value prop at a higher cost to be able to grow into that. So if everyone can drop whether or not you have a product-based service, a product business or a service business, or maybe you have both. So I will start for the people who have a product-based service. So this is something that actually Tiffany helped me with. I currently do not have a product for my consulting firm. I will towards the end of the year, but I've always been a service-based agency. And so what I realize is when you're a service-based agency, you are literally trading your time for money. You are literally constantly talking. You are literally always basically at the demand of your clients. But when you have a product, you can create automated systems that push your product and give you more of your time back. So what I've seen happen in COVID, which I'm sure a lot of you have, is that there has been an increase in products, or maybe there's a decrease because people are trying to sell their old products before they launch their new ones. But there has been a bunch of service providers who have converted to product-based businesses because they want their time back. And they know that there's multiple ways to use strategies to sell to hit their revenue goals. So one thing Tiffany and I talked about was in my nonprofit, I have a journal, and I produced 2 journals earlier this year to use as grief tools and healing tools. And I didn't understand how to price myself. I wanted it to be affordable, but I also wanted to make sure that it was sustainable revenue because it feeds my nonprofit. And what we talked about was the 4-to-1 ratio. So for every item you sell, you need a $4 profit. So let's use the example of 1 because it's the easiest thing. You want $1 to pay yourself. So essentially your take-home payroll. You want $1 to go back to your product. You want $1 to go to your business operation expenses. And if you guys joined yesterday, Alexis had a really good breakdown on how she has multiple accounts, what they're used for. in the value of really being able to know your numbers so you know how to price yourself essentially. And then the last one, business savings. So I see a lot of clients who come to me who just pay themselves or pay their business back for products. They don't have money away for operations. And a lot of time, I would say about 75% of the time, they do not have a business savings. And last March, it seemed like we've been in COVID forever, but last March really showed who had a really good business savings, especially for the people who had to close their businesses, the people who had to rebrand quickly, the people who had to reinvest, or the people who had to be able to sustain, without grants or until those things kicked in, because those things don't come right away. It is essential to have a business savings outside of your personal savings. So that's an example. We like to call it the power of 4. You want to have your profit times 4. Now, when you are a service provider, this is the things that you want to consider for pricing. 6 things. You want to calculate your expenses. You want to look at the market and do market research. When I do market research, I like to do 3 things. I like to look at my actual market that I'm sitting in. So for me, it would be Buffalo, New York. I like to sit and look at another city, apples to apples. So for me, it's like Detroit, or it's Pittsburgh, or it's Cleveland. I like to look at those markets to see service providers who are providing the same thing as me, and if their pricing is available, or maybe it's at an hourly rate or packages, just to make sure that I'm competitive, but also that I'm not lowballing myself or I'm not pricing too high. The other thing I like to look at is who I aspire to be. So when I think of the expansion that will happen for my company, and when I think of my 5-year goals, I like to identify who those providers are and what's their high ticket prices. What are they selling? What's in demand for them? Who are the type of people that they're hiring? Because then I need to know in my head, okay, when I go to hire these people, what's their typical salary? Because before hiring, I always say you should have 6 months of salary for them. So market research is really imperative. Knowing your customers is the next thing. Like I said, I have a range of people who come to me with an idea, startup, people who have been in business for a while and they want to rebrand, or they're looking for strategies because they're maybe stuck. Those are my favorite clients. And then people who are 7-figure businesses. And I made a mistake by launching a new program, and I was charging 7-figure clients the same as I would a startup. And so, to be completely honest, it was because I was launching something new. I knew who my customers were, but I wasn't taking into consideration the time invested. So the time invested is the 4th thing that you really want to know, and it goes with number 3. The time that I'm going to use to help someone produce a new business as a startup is not the same time, and it's not as complex as someone that has a 7-figure company, even a 6-figure company, to be completely honest. So knowing your customers, knowing what their budget is, what they can afford, and what their revenue is. So the first thing I ask people is, what is their revenue? What are their revenue goals? And what's the strategy that they're using to help them get there? And if we have to develop it, that's fine. But I need to know, because there's no reason why you should be charging, a brand new person who just started their business $5,000. That's not your ideal customer. If it is your ideal customer, you might want to wait until they're about a 6-figure or close to a 6-figure company, because then they understand the value of why you're $5,000 and what you're going to do for them. We talked about time invested. So for me, most of my appointments go in the ratio of 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and an hour. If it has to take me over an hour to consult with you or to work with you, that's going into the project management space, or you're retaining me for different services. And so the pricing that I have for there is really calculated based on what the needs of the company is. And I have a chart at what my hourly rate is. And that's all packaged in a proposal, but you really need to understand, how long is it going to take for me to get this done for this client? How long is it going to take for me to work with this client? And how long will it take for follow-up? A lot of time as a service provider, we do not include follow-up. And then what happens is we leave money on the table. You know, if a client is supposed to follow up with you, or you're supposed to follow up with a client, and you don't calculate that time or schedule that time in for you, sometimes we drop the ball. The fifth thing is coming up with a fair pricing profit margin. So that's going back to number 2, looking at the market, understanding, creating your own profit margin. What are your business expenses? What type of profit are you looking for? What loss can you take? How much does it take? What are the systems that you need to use? What's the benefits of those systems? Because sometimes we're just using systems to be using them, but we're not maximizing them fully. But that falls in our profit margin. And then the last one is coming up with an hourly rate or project rate. For me, it's a project rate because project management, but sometimes it's a flat rate. So again, like I said, I have 2. If people come to me and say, hey, we want your project management services, I'm going to discount. I'm not going to use the word discount. I'm sorry, because Tiffany does not like that word. My prices are not my hourly rate. They're a little bit lower only because I have a longer contract with them. So for project management, it's at minimum you have a 30-hour contract with me monthly. I'm not going to charge you what I would for 30 hours if I was just meeting with you one-on-one. And that's just from a relationship standpoint. And it's because I get longer contracts, like a year contract that route. I have other ones where I'm charging hourly. So for my strategy appointments, I'm going to charge you starting at $125 hourly. But then I'm going to put a time cap and say that in one day, I only can service you for 2 hours. Because again, when you're a service provider, you have to go back to the calculation of time invested. And if people know that they can get over on you, or maybe, you just don't know how to set boundaries, you will find yourself working harder for a client and you're not getting paid for them. And so sometimes I may take a 2-hour strategy appointment. 1 hour is literally me working with the client. The other hour is follow-up or work that I have to do for them. I still charge them for 2 hours. So the last slide, because I really want to get to the Q&A, is developing your 6-figure offer by mastering one thing. For me, I am a visual learner, so sometimes seeing a breakdown changes everything. And I think we think getting to 6 figures is so far-fetched, or it seems like everybody's doing it every day if you look at social media, But sometimes it's like I said, you have to take a step back and say, what's lucrative for me? What's profitable for me? What's most sustainable? But what's least expensive in terms of the business operation portion. So for me, my strategy appointments and my project management were the best for me. It was no longer lucrative for me to do other business tasks and offer other business services because they were costing me too much time. And so I want to start with this breakdown that I have. Actually, if you were a service provider and you launched products, or if you had products, if you were a product owner and you went into being an expert in giving consultations, with this right here, you actually make over $200K if you did them both. But let me break down being a service provider. So if you are a service provider and you provide 3 types of consultations, let's say you're a graphic designer or a branding coach, and you offer a 30-minute, a 45-minute, or an hour consultation. Those are the options. So if you take 12 consultations for 30 minutes in 1 week at the rate of $125, that will give you $1,500. That month alone, you would make $6,000. Let's say if you also did in conjunction 45 minutes for just 1 day a week, you would make $900, $3,600 for that month just in that service. And if you decided, which is what I do, I only take one consultation a day at an hourly rate of $200 for just essentially a week. My weeks are counted in 6 days because I take off Sundays. But that gives you $1,200, which a month that gives you $4,800. Now, let's say if you are a full-time, you are a full-time entrepreneur, and you decided this is just going to be my schedule as a service provider. This is what I offer. This is going to be it. I'm going to offer this for the month. So $6,000, $3,600, and $4,800 gives you $14,000 a month. That's just if you were a service provider doing consultations based on your expertise. If you do that consistently for just every month, you hit all of these goals, which when you really break it down, it's really not a lot. That gives you $172,000 per year. And again, this is basically you talking because you're a consultant. This is not if you want to add an add-on fee, if they ask you to write something up, or if they hire you to do work. This is just, either you talking as a consultant, or maybe you are hired. This is your hourly rate, let's say. And these are pretty good hourly rates for you to take 30 minutes to do something at $125. That's why I said like graphics or something. That's actually pretty good. So that's just a service provider example. If you are a product owner, so let's say for me, I'm a service provider and I decided, okay, you know what? I want to go into being a product owner. I want to offer a course. I want to offer a guide or ebook, and I want to offer a workbook that's complimentary, and it can be an add-on feature when people go to check out for a guide, my guide and my ebook, because, I'm a person who likes to write. So I don't always want to print things out and not have somewhere to write, or maybe I want to look at it on my computer, the ebook, or my phone, but I want to have a place to write things out. So of course I'm going to add the workbook. One course, $97. If you sell 30 courses a month, and again, you don't got to post all day, you get your systems going so that they sell, use other marketing strategies. But if you decide to sell 30 courses for $97, that gives you a monthly revenue of $29.10, so almost $3,000. Then if you decide to say, hey, I'm going to sell my ebook or I'm going to sell my workbook, if you sell both of them, 100 copies a month, $2,700. So you can sell them together, you can sell them individually. But if you decide to just do that, set those goals consistently for a month, your monthly revenue would be $8,310. If you do that consistently for 1 month, you hit your six-figure mark. But then if you decide, okay, you know what, I'm not the person that's going to be selling 3 different things. I'd rather just have them on an automated system where you can come and you can package the whole thing. Like, let's say you're a service provider and you're a product owner. So I'm providing my consultations, and people like, yeah, I need more of you. I need that course you were talking about. I need that ebook, girl, and I need that workbook. Okay. Well, now you can just package all of those services or all of those products, offer it at $150. You're still selling to those 10 people you had before, and your monthly revenue will be $15,000. At the end of the year, you would do the same amount as a service provider, hitting $180. Now, I put a little star next to this because this is a trick. And again, Tiffany don't really like discounts. I'm just a giver, so I do have to set boundaries. But, let's say it's Black Friday time, or let's say it's Women Empowerment Month. You decide you want to sell your package, but you want to sell, maybe it's your birthday. You want to do a sale, or you want to do an offer at a little bit of a discounted rate of your normal 150 packages. You're then able to give a discount at about 10% off. And if all of these are like digital downloads, it's perfect because they get them right away. And you still hit way over 6 figures. If you do these actually together, like I said, you're able to make over $200,000. And that, again, is mastering one thing. So I use the example as if you were a graphic designer or if you were a branding coach. Like, you only got to offer one service. Take something that you are an expert at, master it, sell courses on it, sell an ebook on it, sell a workbook on it, and then give your consultations as well. And you can make $200,000 with very low overhead expenses. A lot of times, for what this example that I gave you, once you produce the workbook or once you produce the courses after recording it or the ebook, it's very, very low for you to continue to generate those things. So for my journal, I pretty much profit actually about 6 times what I have to pay to get it for. So that's just an example of you just offering one thing. So if you offer multiple things, you definitely can hit over 6 figures, but this is just one thing. So that is it for my presentation. Very short, sweet, to the point. I'm going to kick it back to Tiffany to be able to offer, open it up for questions.
All right, awesome. Thank you so very much, Shy. You and I are both on screen now, so you should be able to, see me, and everybody can see you. So, how was it? Can you all hop into, the comment box and let us know, what are your thoughts? What questions do you have? How are you feeling about the material and the information? I definitely saw you all going off. I was, texting people. So I've literally been enjoying the entire presentation. I took some notes. I slapped myself when she said consistently about 10 times. Okay. It is consistently, and you will see those results. So as I stated, we do have questions that you all submitted in advance. So I have those here in front of me and I'm going to go through those, but I do think that we'll have just a few minutes for live Q&A. So if you all can just, get into that comment box now. Please let us know what you thought about Shy's presentation, what stood out to you, what did you learn, what are you going to walk away with? And then again, if you have any questions about what she taught on, put those in the comment box as well, and I will come around to those. So let us get right into this Q&A portion so that we don't belabor the point. So the first question that I have for you, and you kind of touched on this, but I want you to expand on it. Does your company help the community where it is located? And if so, how does your company help your local community?
Yeah, so my company was birthed in my local community by me being an administrative assistant and just having access to so many business owners who were like, I need an admin, I need a good quality admin, or I was telling them, no, you don't need an admin, you need to get your systems in order, you need to learn the administrative duties, because you can hire someone, but if you're not a master at it yourself, I don't know what to tell you. So I do serve my local community, and this year, I've been actually seeing more remote clients more than ever. So that I'm excited about. But yeah, I serve my local community by going before COVID, going into their actual business and auditing their business and their administrative needs.
Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. So, have you ever turned down a client? And if so, can you tell us what that process looked like, why you did it, how you were able to do it, and all of that?
Yeah, so before I never turned down a client, to be completely honest. Before 2020, I never turned down a client. Like I say, I work full time and I'm in my business full time. I don't treat it as a part time business. And I took everybody. 2020, when I really began to view my business as a kingdom business and understand that everybody's not for me, to pray over my clientele as well as be able to pray for God to lead who He wants me to consult with. Um, yeah, I tell people no frequent. I tell them I don't think I can be of service to you. Um, when I've been disobedient and decided, oh, I'm still going to help them, or it doesn't seem like it's going to take much, it becomes the biggest headache. So immediately I trust like the Holy Spirit, or I trust like any type of resistance. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually not the one for you. And actually, I'll even share that there was a time where I had two five-figure business deals on the table during COVID. So of course you want those. It's a crisis. And I was disobedient. God had told me like, nope. And I was disobedient. And then I was really upset and mad that they were still sitting on the table because the people was playing.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think that we don't talk enough about um, what we walk away from. I know that, we all do it. We all share our successes and what we secure and what we got, but we don't talk about, what we walked away from. We don't talk about those 5 and 6 figure deals that we walk away from because they're not right. They're not a good fit for us, or it's just not who you've been called to serve. So, and I remember journeying with you through some of those conversations about some of these clients, and you're like, I'm ready to fire this client. I don't want to take this client. And I tell people all the time that if you feel any of that resistance, for us as believers, we know, know that it's the Holy Spirit, but, if we call it intuition or whatever, if you feel any of that resistance, excuse me, hold on, let me. There you are. All right, so you're back. If you feel any of, that resistance, then you have to follow that. Like, don't be afraid to walk away from something because the headache that you have in trying to deal with it is typically not going to be worth it. And then also to your point about, taking every client. You are not called to serve every person. And as entrepreneurs, we know that we have to make money. And if we don't do the work, we won't make the money. We won't see, the revenues and the profits. But it can be, again, more of a headache and not worth what you think it will be worth if you take a client that you're not supposed to be serving. So again, you got to be okay with walking away from those clients. So yeah, let's see. I see a couple of comments here. Mercedes said, this is very true. And I have 2 clients I took and I feel that I shouldn't have taken them. Brittany said, Lord, help. Because, we need some help.
And then you be crying like, God, get me out of this. And he be like, I told you not to get in it.
Right, right. If we stop getting into the things that God doesn't tell us to do, then we won't, have these problems that we really not but that we definitely get ourselves into. So, all right. So that was very, very good. We're going to move on to the next question. You touched on this in your introduction, so I wanted to come back around to this, particularly for those women who are single mothers who have a full-time job and a business. How do you balance all of these things? And, I know from working with you that your son is very much a part of every part of your life. But can you just share, maybe 1 or 2 tips, some inspiration for those women who may be watching who are full-time jobs, single parents? Okay, because it's different from being, married and co-parenting, and then also full-time in their business, which is something that you said that I think really stuck out as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to stay full time in your business because for me, my career, I've always wanted to be a corporate thug and have my own business. And, I saw examples of women do that. And I know that I can and I am doing it. And when you operate out of purpose, I have purpose in each of those spaces and they complement each other well. So I think it's important to set that boundary within yourself because there was times where, my business was thriving and I wasn't giving work my all. There was times where my career was thriving and I had went on a hiatus. Actually, 2020 is the most consistent I think I've been. 2020 and when I the first year I launched because I never understood the balance. I was in grad school. I was new to being a single mom. I had so many things going on, and then when I realized like my why, that's the one thing I didn't share. My why. My why is attached to um operating out of purpose, creating a legacy that's sustainable. And when I say sustainable, what's the point of me building it if my children and my family don't know what to do with it? So for me, like my why is not only to do it to lay the foundation, but teach them how not to fumble it. So I don't have balance and I don't feel guilty about it anymore because Courtney Andale, the owner of Main Choice, is somebody who I really admire. And I went to her first Who's the Boss conference, and people always ask that, like, how do you, she's married. And she was like, listen, you make sacrifices. There's times where you have to show up for your kids and close the computer. There's times where you have to tell your kids, like, hey, I'm doing this. And I didn't get that until 2020, where my baby's now home with me. So he's seeing me work all day. I'm literally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I literally close one computer and open another. And so today I was conscious to make sure I gave myself a 30-minute window to do nothing, whether it was to look at, I get anxiety about speaking. So I'm like, is it for me to just look at some scriptures, play some scriptures, or just sit in the middle, like quietness, or let me just finish watching this show I was watching, like whatever you got to do for you before you transition into the next thing. But the biggest thing that 2020 taught me, and I'll be transparent, is my son one day said to me, why is work more important to me? And we were trying to play a board. We were playing tic-tac-toe actually, and I was in the middle of trying to post some content, which if I would have just scheduled it, it would have been posted, but whatever. And I kept saying to him, hold on, babe. And I'm always have been an active mom. I haven't always been a present mom. And my son is getting older, so he's noticing it. And what's the point of me creating this quote unquote legacy or working so hard where I'm traumatizing my child? So I have made myself understand that work is my first priority. I'm gonna turn down every client. I don't care what the money look like if I can't be good to my home first. There's no way God's going to send me a husband or continue to bless me with children if I can't take care of my home. And that has been my 2020 biggest but most hardest lesson. And now I include my son. Some things like, packaging the mail out stuff, or this morning he came to me and said, Mom, what are you doing? And I was like, no, this is what I'm doing because I'm presenting later. I had something to do for work plus this. And I'm showing him. So that's my answer. It ain't really a balance. It's about the biggest thing that I'll say is create systems.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that brought tears to my eyes. And I don't even have like biological children, but being actively involved in the lives of my godchildren, and don't let them hear me say that they ain't my biological kids' child. They it's going to be a problem. Like they are not with that foolishness. But when you were speaking, the thing that came to me was I don't want my children to be resentful of the business that is being built. So let me just get Shy back. We lost for a second. There you are. I don't want my children to be resentful of the thing that I am actually trying to build for them. So I think as parents, and even as, members of a child's village, that we have to be cognizant of those things. And, I don't want my child to look at these businesses and say, you know what, this is the thing that always took my mom away from me. So why would I ever want any part of that? And to resent, what I'm trying to build for them. So I admire your transparency, with us and also with your son, in terms of, what you're building and sharing those things with him. So thank you. What I will say, what I took away from that is for every, woman or man who is watching, who is a single parent, you're working a full-time job and you own a business. What I got from everything that Shai said is you can do it. Okay, it's not impossible. You are not the first person to try to figure this thing out, and you are not going to be the last, and you're not the first person who will try to master it, but you can, figure it out. So thank you for that. I want to go back to something that you mentioned in your presentation, and you talked about like price adjustments. You almost called them discounts, but I changed it to price adjustments. So you talked about adjusting your pricing for longer term contracts. Can you expand on that a little bit more so that people kind of get an understanding? And I'll piggyback on whatever you share.
Yeah, so for me, when I started taking project management clients, which was actually birthed out of me, like I transparently shared, taking a seven-figure client who should have never been in the rate as a startup business. So when I understood what their needs were, and some seven-figure business owners, whether they have seven figures themselves or their business, because let's talk about the difference. You can have a seven-figure business, but not make seven figures yourself. Um, so understanding what it was that they needed, I realized they needed project management. They had some projects that they just needed to be managed. They didn't have the capacity, and when you make that much in revenue traditionally, they're not willing to trade their time. So they're like, "Here, you do it." So if I have a $20,000 deal on the table, I'm gonna take that for maybe a 45 to 6 month, 45 days to 6 month contract, 3 to 6 months, versus me charging them for each hour. Because in the end, yes, they paid me probably, I think my margin is between 10 to 15% cheaper. So it's not, I don't want to say the word cheaper, adjusted. So it's not like, oh, I'm lowballing myself. It's not. But what happens is now they say, hey, we need you to extend this contract, or we need you for something else, or we can refer you to someone else. So for me, I'm going to take the $20,000 contract versus me getting a $35,000 contract, which in all honesty, the $15,000 matters, but not when you pay taxes. And then now I've been able to get out of that $20,000 contract, I've been able to get four more contracts.
Yeah, I think that's important, especially in service, is to know how to leverage. So, like, there have been times where I was negotiating, a five or six figure contract. And for the first year, so like if it was a five or six figure contract, what I would do is say, you know what, let me scale their prices up, right? Let me increase their investment. And I've seen many other people do this, very successful people who will say, okay, you know what, for the first year of this contract, it'll be $50,000. But when we go to renewal, it'll be 65, and continue to increase in increments. It's the same thing with like owning real estate, right? You increase your tenant's rent, every year. If you've ever rented somewhere, you know that your rent went up every year, come hella high water. It don't matter if you had it or not. And the reason why is because they factor in that growth, knowing that if I can get you in a longer term lease, I can offer you an adjusted rate at the onset, knowing that over the term of the contract, I might actually end up making more money than if I tried to come at you hard, with the top price from the beginning. So I think that you just have to know your clients. And for me, because, being service based and, moving into the area of government contracting and university and corporate contracts, to be completely honest, I'd rather have long-term contracts that pay me a larger amount broken down into smaller increments than, to have to be worried about client acquisition every 6 months. Right. And I think that that's something that a lot of people, don't factor in. So, one of the things about all of the advice that we're sharing, especially, for service-based businesses, is that you really have to figure out what works for you. I tell all of my clients this. I tell, anybody who will listen to me that the advice that you get, take that advice, pray on it, sit with it, and figure out how it will work for you. Shy and I are sharing with you the models that have worked for us, but I guarantee you that there will be a business owner that'll say, I would never offer an adjusted rate and I'm going to go in, for the gusto in year one. That's fine if that works for them, right? But for me, like I said, I'd rather have, 500,000 broken up over 3 years and know that I don't have to worry about client acquisition. That's the other part. When you're not worried about money, you can think. And this is another thing that entrepreneurs do not talk about a lot. If you are always focused on client acquisition, you are always chasing the dollar. In service-based businesses, if you can get contracts, like for example, in 2019 was one of my most profitable years in business. It was also one of my easiest years in business because I didn't have to worry about money. Right. For the first time, I actually had like really long contracts. I got a 3-year contract, I think, a 3-year government contract. And I'm like, child, please, if I didn't want to do nothing else for the next 3 years, I'm good. I'm covered. I'm taken care of. Right. But of course, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep hustling. But that's the beauty of being in a service-based business is that you can structure those contracts and structure your offers in a certain way to say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I need. All right.
Can
So,
I just say one thing really
yeah,
quick? I think that's why it's important to know what your why is in your business. Because
yeah,
for me, my why is always client retention, it's not client acquisition. There will be times where, yes, I need to go and acquire new clients. Yes, there will be times where I need to look for other contracts. But to be honest, because I work full time, I struggle, and I know that I provide better quality service when I don't have to go hustle and it's referral based. So for me, I rather focus on nurturing those clients that I have because, to be completely honest, for me to be in business 4 years, I have no marketing plan. All of my clients are referral based. And people forget about retention. People forget when you're doing your key indicators or your key performance indicators, what are you looking for? What's success for your business? Let's not look at the money. Let's look at the soft skills. So
yeah, that's good. And those key performance indicators, again, we don't talk enough about that. And we definitely want to be able to have like retention as a part of our. Give me one second. I'm clicking. All right. So I love this comment here. Brittany said, I serve better when I'm not stressed about dollars. Yes, definitely. I serve better when I'm not stressed about dollars. Mercedes said I have better success with referrals and marketing. I do too. Referrals, it has always been, and word of mouth is still and will always be the number one source of marketing, for businesses. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to answer one of the live questions that is from Mercedes. So if you can just do that question, Shy, and then answer that for me.
so Mercedes is just saying currently trying to juggle home business self-care without outsourcing, how to discern who to choose to work with and what to look forward to spending my money on them. How do I make these decisions? Um at some point you have to say, so that's where I was last year. I was about to start outsourcing like crazy, but of course because of COVID I was like, I don't really want to outsource. But I had to understand, am I serving my household right? Am I giving it my all? If I'm truly was giving it my all, then I can outsource. When it came to like hiring a housekeeper or hiring a nanny, hiring a tutor, I was not giving all of those areas my all. So it was not worth me spending the money because I know I could have went harder for home. And that's when I realized I needed to take care of home first. Yes, I hired a tutor for my son because that was a better investment. But in terms of hiring a nanny just so I could have free time, or hiring a cleaning service when at the end of the day, I can take, I now have a cleaning schedule like I'm a child, because I had to realize I wasn't giving it my all. I wasn't doing laundry every day. Instead of trying to say Sunday's laundry day, girl, just do a load every day. So honestly, look at what you can invest, look at what's worth investing in the long haul, what gives you, the most anxiety if you can outsource it. But then when you said self-care, redefine what self-care is, because we think self-care is going to get our nails done, going to get our hair done, when self-care might be you just need to go take a walk. You just need to journal. You just need to, so that's really my only advice. We can do it all. It's whether or not we want to do it all. And I'm getting me a cook. I'm getting me a cook, but I could clean. So it's like I'm just gonna hire the cook over that.
No, I'm the same way. I invested in cleaning services in my home. I don't know why I hear like clicking when I unmute myself, but sorry if y'all hear that. Um, so I okay, that stopped it. I think it was us talking together. You can still hear it. Oh my goodness, that's so annoying. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. We'll fix it before the next session. So, in any event, I hired a housekeeper for my home, and like Shy, I can cook, but I don't really be having time to clean, and it's not really the thing that I'm interested in. Cooking is self care for me, and it helps me. So that's something that feeds my soul, which is why I'm willing to do it. Cleaning does not feed my soul. Okay, so I'm not willing to do it. All right, so last two questions, Shy. We are down to our last 2 minutes of your time. So one of the questions, you kind of touched on this, but if you can answer in 60 seconds or less, how has COVID impacted your business?
COVID actually created a demand for my business, which also made my business a little bit more sustainable, because now I was able to create pricing and packages and create a system that works for my businesses and allow me to show up in my businesses every day consistently. I struggled with that a lot last year. That's why I said consistently probably 10 times, because I was talking to me. But I have, like I said, two different businesses. So one Tuesday, Thursday is my consulting day. The other days are my For Grieving Daughters Day. I don't look at an email. I don't pick up a call if it's not related to that business on that day.
Awesome. Very good. And then the last question, what role has business coaching or consulting played in your success thus far?
Yeah, so I realized one of the biggest things I realized working with Tiffany is I had a lot of trauma attached to business. So as I began to process that, everything was already in me. I already knew, I was already operating in. But I was trying to compare myself to people who are full-time entrepreneurs, if I can be completely honest. I was trying to show up as if I didn't have other responsibilities. And at the end of the day, I had to define what success looked like for me and what's my whys. I had to readjust my whys. And so having a coach was helpful because I needed someone who had the kingdom mindset. I had never looked at God as the CEO of my business, although I prayed for my business. So that's where it was really helpful.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Shy. Can we give her a virtual round of applause? Thank you so very much for everything that you shared. I'm going to go ahead and let you go and kick you off the screen. But we really want to thank you, and we definitely appreciate your time and the expertise that you have shared.
Thank you.
All righty. So thank you all so very much for sticking with us for the first hour. Really excited that you all were able to engage. And again, I hope that that was really helpful for you all. Before we go to intermission, I want to thank our graphic sponsor, Brittany Smith Creative Company. Brittany is actually on here with us. She was on last night. She's on tonight, and she's going to be presenting tomorrow night. But if you like the graphics that you saw for this event, any any of the branding or any of the materials that you see, all of those things were created by Brittany Smith and Brittany Smith Creative Company. So please make sure that you visit BrittanySmithCreative.com to find out more about her services and about branding. So she can do event branding, product branding, personal branding, business branding, and it's the whole shebang. Okay, we ain't piecemealing over here. So it's the whole shebang. And she can really help you from idea to conception when it comes to your branding. All right. So again, with that, we have come to the end of this presentation, and we are getting ready to go into a short intermission just so that we can get everything transitioned over to our next presenter. But I just want to remind you all that as a benefit for you tuning into the Six Figure Summit, you all will receive a complimentary 360 business analysis session. All you have to do is visit the link that is on your screen and use that code, and you can secure your free 360 business analysis session with me, where we are going to analyze your current standing in business, your goals, and then we'll talk a little bit about how you can begin to achieve those goals. The session is normally $97, for each session. But again, I'm giving it to you all for free, just because I'm so grateful that you all have tuned in and participated. So please make sure that you take advantage of that and that you schedule it. Also, you all can join the Six Figure Society today by visiting T3Diversity Solutions.com/SFS, which stands for Six Figure Society. We have 1 to 2 spaces left in each cohort. I didn't write down all the numbers. I'll get that for you tomorrow. But for each of the cohorts that we focus on, we have 1 to 2 spots that are left. And once we fill those spots, that will be it. Also, the investment for the Six Figure Society programs will be increasing on February 1st, 2021. So if you want to take advantage of the 2020 rates for working with the Six Figure Society, please make sure that you join us today or at some point before January 31st. And like I said, you can definitely take advantage of the complimentary session that is being extended to you all. All you have to do is go and book it. When we got off of last night's broadcast, I saw that some people had already booked their sessions. So make sure that you take advantage of that. All right. So we are going to take a short intermission, and we're going to return at 8:10 p.m. So that's in 3 minutes. I know everybody's not in the same time zone. I'm sorry. 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll return in 3 minutes. Take a bathroom break, grab your notebook, get some water. Don't close out the screen. You can just walk away from it. And we will be back with you momentarily. So thank you all so much for sticking with us.
All right, all right. Welcome back, and thank you all so much for that brief intermission. I don't know about you, but I feel like it was 1 minute instead of 3 minutes. I'm literally counting down the time on my watch. Like, goodness gracious, we are out of time. Okay, so thank you all so much for sticking with us for the second half of tonight's focus on growing your business. I know that there are some new people who are just now joining. Maybe you didn't tune in for the first session. That's completely okay. We're going to get you acclimated and get you onboarded, and then we're going to move into our final presentation for the night. So again, welcome back to everyone. As you join, please say hello and let us know where you are tuning in from. I ask that you please get engaged by telling us where you are tuning in from, what you are looking forward to most about tonight. And we are moving into our final session about effective storytelling. I've seen the presentation for this, and I'm really, really excited because I know that Miss Kimberly Henderson is definitely going to bring the fire, and she really has the keys to turn your conversations into coins. You can also share this link to Facebook. I've already shared it, and I ask that you do the same. You can share it to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, to any social media platform by clicking the share button that is located below this video on YouTube. When sharing to social media, I just ask that you please use the hashtag the Six Figure Summit, and that you tag the Six Figure Society if you're going to post to Instagram, and do a little bit of a screen grab and all of that there. So welcome to the Six Figure Summit presented by the Six Figure Society in partnership with Brittany Smith Creative Company. For those of you who are just now joining, my name is Tiffany Gillespie, and I am your host for this virtual event. I'm a serial entrepreneur and the owner of T3 Diversity Solutions, which is a management consulting firm. One of the divisions of that company is called the Six Figure Society, and that is the presenting sponsor for this event. The Six Figure Society is a community that is designed for business owners who want to make their first six figures or their next six figures. Through this community, we have helped clients from the startup phase to grossing over $250,000 annually. So no matter where you are in business, your level of experience, or the size of your business, there is a place for you in this society. As I mentioned at the end of our last session, membership is very membership spots are very low, so we have very limited spots remaining. The investment for joining the Six Figure Society will be increasing on February 1st, 2021. So feel free to take advantage of those 2020 rates before the end of this month by visiting our website. All right, so tonight we already had one workshop discussing how to create offers in your business that will get you to the six-figure revenue. The next presentation that we are going to have will focus on storytelling through your content. One of the hardest parts of my business journey was growing my business, and I think that most successful business owners will tell you the same. It takes something different to grow your business than it does for you to start it. So again, we are just moving into our next presentation. I'm really excited about this particular presentation because we are going to be just focusing again on one of the two things that we are covering tonight, and that is effective storytelling for your content. So if you are trying to figure out how to grow your business to its first six figures, then tonight is all about you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our next presenter into our virtual space. Let me get Miss Kimberly Henderson on the screen. How are you, Kim?
I am blown away and amazed. I cannot wait to share this great presentation, y'all.
Yes, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And I'm excited that you are excited and that you're excited about the content that you're going to be presenting tonight. So, Kim, in a few moments, I'm going to have you to do a brief introduction, but just so that all of the viewers know, we're going to do the same format as what we did with Shy. So Kim's going to introduce herself, and then, we're going to transition, get her presentation up, and she's going to present to you all. After that presentation, I'm going to ask some of the questions that you all submitted when you registered for this event, but there will also be the opportunity for you to ask some questions live about the information that is presented. So, Kim, can you just really quickly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So my name is Kimberly Henderson. I am a Traptastic nutrition enthusiast. I assist bariatric patients and assist them with adapting to their post-op lifestyle. So my goal is to help people who have had weight loss surgery stick to their plan, stick to their schedule, their regimen, to make sure that they are adapted to the lifestyle, because it's more than just about the weight loss surgery. You really have to put in work, as I've known.
Yes, I can only imagine. I'm sure you're going to share more of your story and why it is that you work with this particular group of people and all of that. So I'm really excited to hear from you. So without further ado, we are going to welcome Miss Kimberly Henderson, influencer, author, and blogger at thekimberlyhenderson.com. You all see her Instagram handle right there. And we are just going to go ahead and bring her presentation up. So Kim, neither one of you and I won't be on screen. We're just going to have your presentation up there. So let's add that even now. And let's see here. Okay. For some reason, I don't see it on my screen. Can you try moving it around to see if maybe we just need to wake up the screen here?
Is it not coming up? It's still sharing.
Okay, so let's try this. Why don't we try taking the screen share down and then bringing it back up? And if there we go. Yep. So we're back on board. So if you can make that full screen, thank you all for being patient with us. These technological things. I promise we did a full check of all of these before we got started, and it's literally like the minute that you go to start, things go haywire. So yeah, you can go ahead and make that full screen, and like I said, it'll be the only thing showing on the screen, and I'll be quiet and let you do your thing once we get it to the full screen portion. So let me
on the full screen. It should show.
There we go. You're on page, I think the second page. So. There we go. All right, so I think this will work for us. And again, it's not completely full screen like what it looked like before, but it's definitely showing what we needed to show. So again, you all please just bear with us for 1 second. 1 second.
I'm not for sure why it's not doing it.
Yeah, we were trying to figure some things out earlier as well. Like I said, it looks good. We can definitely see everything there, but I know when I present, it's just, I like it to look a certain way.
I'm not for sure why it's doing this.
Okay, so we can go ahead though and move into it. Like I said, we can definitely see everything that is on your screen if you want to bring that screen share back.
Okay.
As we are waiting for that to happen, again, please make sure that you all are sharing this broadcast. You can share this broadcast by clicking the share button that is located below this video. So on YouTube, all you have to do is just like hit the little share function and allow you to text it to people and share to all of these different platforms. And then make sure that you are using the hashtag the Six Figure Summit, and that you are tagging the Six Figure Society. The next thing that I want you all to do while we're waiting, for our screen to come back up, is that if you already know that you have some questions about like how to create content, some of the things that Kim is going to be talking about, she'll be talking about, what makes her business unique and, how do you position that? some of the responsibilities that she has as a business owner and as a content creator. She's going to be talking from the perspective of an influencer, a blogger, an author. So again, if you have any questions about how to increase your influence, how to, own that title. If you have any questions about, how to become an author and how you use your authoring skills and how you leverage those things through, social media and through content creation, you can go ahead and ask those questions as well. And then last but certainly not least, if you're interested in being a blogger and again, just trying to figure out how you leverage blogging, then you can certainly ask that question as well. So if you have any questions that you already know you want to present or ask, you can go ahead and put those things in the comment box, because I'm really, really excited about this particular presentation. This is something that Kim has worked really hard to master. And like I said, we'll get her screen back up in 1 second. And I know that you all are gonna, love the presentation, but this is something that Kim and I, have really, really worked on, and to see her blossom in this area has been so beautiful. To go from like where we started to her being able to teach on how to create, great content and effective storytelling. And literally, I think it's been maybe like less than a year or right at a year that we have been working together. So let this just be a testament and an example to all of you that, things can happen for you really quickly in business. Things can change for you really quickly in business. Something that you may be struggling with now, you could be a master at by this time next year if you really put the effort into mastering that particular thing. Okay, so I hope that encourages someone, that you feel good about that, because I know that sometimes it can seem like mastering things is just so far off. It can seem like I'm never going to get to that point that I want to get to, or it's going to take me forever to get there. And I don't want you all to ever feel that way, because there's definitely things that can happen very quickly for you in business. And this time next year, your life, your business could really be completely different. Okay. So let me see here. We haven't gotten the screen back. So what I'm going to do is, Kim, I'm just going to go ahead and share it on my end for the sake of, oh, there it is. It's back. Never mind. Add to stream. There we go. Okay, all right, so let me take all of this extra stuff off the screen and I'm gonna bring you back in. All right, very good. So yes, Kim, I'm gonna stop talking now and I'm gonna let you get into your presentation so you can take it away from here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I so appreciate it. Just as a testament of all the work that I put into this presentation. I did not take any shortcuts around this, because sometimes when we present, sometimes we can want to take the fast way out. When it came to this, I really wanted to put my heart and soul into it. So I wanted to bring you the power of six-figure storytelling. So some topics that we'll go over tonight is owning your story, the sequence, flow, and words, they matter, speaking authentically, saying this, not that, sharing isn't caring, and converting conversations into coins. So I want to tell you all, before I continue to move forward, that this will be a great presentation. I just want to make sure you all take notes on this presentation, because I really dug deep. I did some homework on this, y'all. So it's not just about me. I really wanted to make sure I didn't want to give you no fluff. I wanted to give you something that you could really use for your business, that's helped me, that's authentic to me, but then also still help you in the same way. So as it reads on the screen, in my outline today, I'm providing you with a little corporate knowledge, because I am by trade, in a day, I'm a communications executive at American Express, and basically you'll also get some of my personal experience with my personal business. So we'll move to tell you more meaningful stories. It may resonate with you in more than one area. Take notes, be engaged, and ask questions. Think of it this way: you are one story away from changing your life. or someone who can change your life. We all know a story should have 3 parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end. We thrive and connect through stories. You ever meet an individual and your spirit was kind of on the fence about them, kind of like, I don't know how to feel about them. Then you hear the story and you're like, oh, it makes sense on why I picked up on X, Y, and Z. Of course, we believe try the spirit by the spirit, but that's just a different example for everyone. Depending on the type of person you are, your outlook on that individual changes. It either causes you to draw closer to persuasion or divert them to another topic. We want your stories to do the former, meaning we want to persuade our people to basically assist us with growing. And we can do that. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. All right, so let's see, we got this going. I just want to make sure. So owning your story. So this is the most important thing, or the most important part that I really want to talk to you about. I really want to make sure I take my time and that you understand the importance of owning your story. So your people, your tribe, your community, whatever their name is, what's your tribe's name? Put it in the comment. Let me know in the comment section what your tribe name is. And so while you're doing that, I'm also going to tell you what my tribe's name is. My tribe's name is known as the K Squad. And these are people who are looking to be the best version of themselves. What's your tribe's name? I'm going to see if I can find anybody's comments down in the comment section. I am looking on the stream live as well. All right, so it hasn't updated yet, so I'm going to keep on moving ahead. And if I see your tribe's name, I'll make sure I shout them out moving forward. All right. All right, awesome sauce. So basically, my K Squad and your group, they're here for your story. They are here for you to show up. They are here for me and my bubbly, floppy skin. I talk about that on my journey, weight loss journey, my loose skin. I've been on this journey for a while as Kimberly, and they're here for me. And just like my tribe is here for me, your tribe is here for you. They aren't here for your alter ego. And they want to do business with you because your story led them to you. All right, we want to go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right, so the right story has the power to motivate and change minds. That's from our friend Claire Patey, the director of the Empathy Museum. Basically just letting you know your story has power and your story has motivation behind it. So letting you know that it's possible for you to make that change in people through your storytelling. So I want you to think of your story as a contract. You need a contract when you as a business wish to obtain something as of value. So with that being said, think of your story as a contract. So you need something to attain value. In this instance, you want paying clients. My friends at TNC's, basically a legal company, told me that a contract can make sure that the seller gives you the item that you are after you've made payment. So the item that you are after, once you've made the payment, they will provide it to you. Now let's change that around to make it work for you. Your story can make sure the buyer gives you the provided payment before, during, or after you have provided the item, service, or products. Let me say that again. Your story can make sure the buyer gives you the provided payment before, during, or after you have provided the item, product, or service to your client. Let's say we're swapping at the same time. You have your money and they have their desired product and or service. So basically it just goes hand in hand with each other. So here are some things to keep in mind for the contract to be successful. C, consent. You agree to share your story freely to those who want to listen, who are engaged, or their interest is piqued. Just as there is consent, let me tell you what non-consent looks like. Over-explaining, diluting your truth, over-negotiating, and creating a narrative to fit your target markets that is focused solely toward money and not service. I need to say that last part again. This is what non-consent, meaning people who do not need your story or people who do not agree to your story, this is what it looks like. You're over-explaining, you're diluting your truth, you're over-negotiating, you're creating the narrative to fit people when you're not worried about serving people. That's the C of the contract. O of the contract is original. Nothing is worse than biting off of someone else's story. It may seem appealing in the times we live in. However, I am going to tell you to write down your story, get used to it, and love it. You're going to tell it a lot of times. It's yours, and I want you to implore your best self to establish your uniqueness. Again, make sure that your story is told, not someone else's. The N in the contract, no. There are some things that are just not going to make the contract. It's okay to let that be known. There are some non-negotiables inside of your story. Terms. This is where you lay out what kind of person you are. It can be explicitly implied or it can be inferenced. I always tell my story of what I did prior to having weight loss surgery. It's so people know the road I've been on, my kind of determination, and the kind of accountability they can expect from me should they decide to work with me. I may be fun, traptastic. However, I'm going to show you what it takes to keep up, the word adapt, with your lifestyle. So you already know, you working with Kim, these are her terms. Repetitive. As I mentioned earlier, and also my homegirl Anaya, who sings Best Things, make sure you listen to the clean version. I ain't saying nothing. She says repetition creates familiarity. So you have to know which parts of your message you want to stick. So that way people know who they are, what they're getting, and again, the whole story or the whole premise of it all, because they'll become familiar with it. So one thing I share consistently on my journey is do it for yourself. The reason why I say do it for yourself, because essentially I wouldn't have started this journey had I not, did it for myself completely. So for the A in the story is for action and adventure. All right, this is usually the last part of it. However, it is so important in storytelling that I have to make sure that I get this right here. What's a good story without taking the people somewhere? It's like dancing and missing the beat drop. We all know how that is. No one's staying around waiting for your second try with the beat drop. You missed the beat drop the first time, it's over. You know, people are going about their other way. They're pretty much going in different circles. So get them to take action the first time around. Even if you tell people to send me a direct message and let me know what you think, it took me a while myself to get this part of the story. But now every one of my story requests, whether it be a post, whether it be on Instagram, or whether it's through Facebook, it tells my people what to do. It asks them to do something so they know where the action or where the adventure is going. So we need to have some direction. C is certainty. Are you sure? Seriously, like honestly, uncertainty is a silent confidence killer. It eats away at your credibility. You and your audience will be confused. If you find yourself questioning your story, you need to slow it down and go back to the drawing board and pull in the parts that really bring out the best in your self-esteem. The reason why I say that pull out the best in your self-esteem is because the more confident you are, the more certain you are, and the more clarity you bring to the story, which all matters. Last is T. It's for themes or timeliness. Most of your stories should have a recurring theme, a story of triumph. This created these results. Working with me will help you so that all of those are examples. It should be able to be told in multiple ways throughout time. Example, my trip to Jamaica, I can tell that in so many different stories. It's a popular destination, so I can bring it up in summertime. It's a conversation piece or icebreaker. I can also talk about how I gained 14 pounds in 7 days and how that was an eye-opening trip for me to see how out of control my eating habits were. I can talk about overeating in so many different conversations in so many different ways. That, again, it's a timeless theme that everyone can connect with. All right. So why this story? Why is it important? Why did you choose to tell it? When you see this, what's important about this is that I want you to ask these questions when you are creating your story. So people just see a story as, oh, it's something I'm creating. What is important about this story that you want to get it out to the public? Why is it important to the public? And why did you choose to tell it? These are 3 important questions that you must answer for your story to be valid, for your story to continue on. Stories are the way we understand and make sense of the world we find ourselves in. Stories are the connection for us. So that's the reason why we tell stories. So sequence, flow, and words matter. So some of this I did not go too deep in because I know that I only have a certain amount of time. So for this one, although we know a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, did you know that sequencing is a strategy that is used to help children comprehend and problem solve? Meaning that getting in sequence solves a problem. So it clarifies your story and it identifies the issue and the resolution your client should take. Meaning getting in sequence solves a problem. So the more organized you are, it clarifies your story and identifies the issue and resolution your client should take. Also, in addition to that, here are some sequence words, just to give you an example, to help you tell your story. Beginning sequence words are once upon a time, one day, first, today, yesterday. Middle or continuing words are then, the next day, after that, later that day. Some interruption or something that happened unexpectedly or suddenly, all of a sudden, but then. And lastly, the ending, finally, in the end. Those are just some of the words that I wanted to give you. So the beginning, middle, and end aren't the end of the conversation. This is something I wanted to make sure that you all understand, is because you may have told your story and you think that you left it all on the podium, but did you though? Here's a simple question. Can the conversation continue even without you being present? If yes, then you have created a successful sequence and flow. If not, again, we need to go back to the drawing board, find our sequencing words, and really create the sequence. Speaking authentically. So the vast majority of people hear authentic, they usually only hear the word truth. They assume it is only truth-telling when it encompasses so much more. Emma Serling of the London Speech Workshop defines authenticity as the connection between what you are saying, how you are saying it, and what you believe. It's not enough to tell the truth when it's prepared with the wrong tone and belief behind it. And also, who is telling the story also matters as well. Think of a book that has turned into a movie. If it is captured well, aligns with the original story, it is usually widely accepted by the audience who knows the storyline. However, let's say it was created just with the premise or the idea of recreation or monetary gain. The remake is usually a bust in the box office. So in speaking authentically, know your story, find your true voice, and believe in the purpose behind your story. All right, now, y'all know I am a bubbly 100% type person. So this is me 98.7% of the time, because we all know we have them down days. So speaking authentically can be portrayed in pictures. These pictures speak to who I am, what I believe, and I also set a tone. You get happy, healthy, and fun vibes in these pictures. I stand by this message. I also have some serious pictures, but there aren't many pictures that are in my batch that are serious, because even in business, I am an energetic ball of light. And this is 100% true. You see these pictures, this is me. This is nobody else. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. And I am always exuberant. It's just a part of my personality, and I accept it and I love it. It took me a while to get here. However, you see her right there. So speaking of words, say this, not that. Essentially, what I wanted to say was, you see how my last sentence, I describe myself as an energetic ball of light. What you say matters and caters to your listener or reader's experience negatively or positively. I made the mistake before of telling my story so many times from a negative experience instead of a positive one. It made people leave with a "why did you get out of bed" expression on their face. Now, I'm realistic, and you can't make dark details look pretty. However, they can be arranged to be transformational and inspirational. This is called positive reframing. So with positive reframing, I wanted to give you some words that I used to describe myself as: dramatic, goofy, silly, and sensitive. So since I know that those sometimes have negative connotations to them, I love these positive reframes because I'm like, hey, this is me, dramatic. I'm imaginative, I'm creative, emotionally aware, expressive, innovative, witty. That's all me, spontaneous. Sometimes, no, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Sometimes I'm spontaneous, I'm more of a planner. But either way, these are just some words that I can reframe my story for it to have a positive light. Am I still innovative? Yes. This gives me the backing so people know that my story is real. And goofy and silly, joyful, entertaining, good sense, carefree. All of these describe me in a way that's not negative. Sensitive, I'm caring and empathetic. Yes, that is me. Sympathetic, thoughtful, caring, compassionate, intuitive, aware of my feelings, understanding, insightful, and perceptive. Yes, that is Kimberly to a T. So these have positive meanings behind them, but still in a way that to where you are accepting of my story, but you understand. And it also kind of like pulls it and tugs at you. These are different words that you can use instead of describing yourself as goofy. Like, oh, I'm humorous. Oh, she's so hilarious. And then again, like I said, that story resonates with your people, like I said, in a positive way. And that's something that we always want to focus on. And also, I just wanted to make sure I give you an example, a negative experience. I'm telling you, I did this all the time. I only lost 5 pounds this week. Lord, I'm telling you, this journey, even with weight loss surgery, it is hard, okay? But I had to change my outlook to say, I demolished 5 pounds from my life forever. You did that, girl. I'm so proud of you. You are bomb. Keep it moving. And so that's something that I also had to do as well. Let's turn these negative experiences into positive outlooks and also positive experiences. So that way we can make sure that our story is positively viewed from people as well. And we are applying strength-based spin on it. So we're focusing on our strengths inside of the negative experience will also translate for them in a positive way as well. All right, now this is something I really wanted to share. Sharing isn't caring. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you the truth. I want to tell you, your privacy is equal to your peace, okay? Just because you have a story don't mean you should tell every little piece of it. Everyone doesn't need to know every little bit of detail in order to connect with you. Let's take it from the great Beyonce, okay? We all want to know what she doing, where she doing it, how she doing it, but she only sprinkles us with little tidbits like the first of the year to let us know that her kids are now 3, okay? That's the last time we seen them when they were born. But just give you that example. So again, what to share? You can share whatever you want. However, at the end of the day, is it beneficial to your clients? Also, am I oversharing? My oversharing story is letting you know, hey, I'm going to go get my feet done. I had some crust inside of my feet. That's too much, sis. We don't need to know all that. You had a wonderful experience at the pedicure spa. It was great. They massaged your feet. How did it feel? Good. It felt amazing. Let's keep the oversharing to a very, very bare minimum. All right, whose business is this? Inside of my corporate job, they have levels. They let us know who's the audience, who is this targeted for, and they also say who should know this information. You kind of need to do it like that as well. Like you have your executive level. What does the executive board need to know? Because they don't need to know what the person who's on the bottom or the lay member, they don't need to know the same thing. The executive needs a high level overview. What's going on? Is the issue, is a problem? Has it been resolved? Yes. Okay, thanks. Other person, the person who's on the front end, they may need to know, hey, this is a tech issue that is going on right now. It needs to be fixed. They're working on it. That's all they need to know. Again, so whose business is it? Who needs to know this and why? And that's another part important of telling your story is knowing who your audience is. All right, now this is the most important part. Going to get into it real nice and quick. You're converting your conversations into coins. So your verbal business card is the first thing. What grabbed your attention as soon as you met me today? It probably was my Traptastic nutrition enthusiast ways. I am a Traptastic nutrition enthusiast, sharing my story unapologetically and encouraging other bariatric patients to adopt their post-op lifestyle. This is my verbal business card. I can guarantee you this is more appealing and more connecting to people than, my name is Kimberly and I'm a nutrition enthusiast, Traptastic, by the way. I think you should work with me. No, one, that's not who I am. Two, I want to make sure you know I'm in the room and why you need to work with me. This is what's going to grab your people. Again, this is small, but again, it matters. I tell you who I am, what I am, who I'm helping, and why I'm doing exactly what I'm doing. So all in this is your verbal business card. Make sure it's up to date. You might need to, tweak it, make sure it works for you in your story. But again, it needs to have some va-va-voom, no zhuzh, but va-va-voom. Zhuzh is kind of like, what do you call it? I want to say fibbing. Va-va-voom is making sure that it's energetic and people really want to, they really want to work with you. So get your verbal business card together. All right, and continuing on, relatability. Is your story realistic? Who is going to relate to, if you're bougie, people who make a certain amount of money are not going to be relatable to you if, the gap in incomes are great. People who are just basically, who have six packs already, somebody who is plus size is really not going to relate to that. But if you know my story, if you know that I have, worked so hard, I've, taken classes, like this is the struggle that I went through to lose weight before I decided to get weight loss surgery, you're more than likely going to be able to or apt to work with me because you understand that it's not been easy for me. And now that you've come to your final decision, usually weight loss surgery is the last straw for a lot of people. So since it's the last straw for a lot of people, I need to make sure that they can connect with that last part. It's like, hey, I understand this is the last straw before you pretty much want to lay it down like, hey, I'm good. I think I'm just going to be overweight. And, if the Lord takes me, the Lord takes me. I'm just being honest. It's a relatable story that people can get with. Now, weird versus warm. Are you a person that you're taking it a little too left and not helping the people, really get it? So weird versus warm is, are you really bringing the people back from uncertainty when it gets weird and warming them up into your conversation? I.e., I'm not feeling comfortable about this conversation. You need to know what type of people you're working with to warm them up. So that's something you should also look into. And then lastly, this is something we all fail at. I fall at it, and I know a lot of other people too. It's consistency and the art of the follow-up. Do you know how many deals I probably would have made in 2020 if, one, I was consistent in making sure I communicated, and then two, made sure I followed up? You have to make sure you follow up. The art of the follow-up is where the coins are. Following up with people to say, hey, I know you said no last week, but this is a new week. I know you might have talked to some new people, so we probably need to talk too, okay? So that's what I want to make sure you convert into coins. That is where you're really going to get that. That's the gem, is following up with people to make sure that you really get what you need. So they know, hey, you're on top of my mind. And also, in what case would I buy from this person? Because they're not showing up for themselves. So I want you to make sure that you get the art of the follow-up to make sure you are converting those conversations into coins. All right, and if you have any questions, you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Kimberly Henderson. And you can go to my website, thekimberlyhenderson.com, for all amazing things, weight loss related and inspiration or life related. So I hope this blessed you all. I hope you learned a little something from it. And yeah, let's get into the questions.
All right, let us transition some things here. Thank you all so much. It's like 20 comments, and I felt like there were a lot of comments, but I couldn't see them. It didn't do the presentation at the same time. Thank you all so much for being patient with us as we kind of navigated that. And again, we didn't rehearse it where I would be running the screen. So I'm trying to listen for Tim's cues, like, okay, is it time to go to the next slide? Listen, we was gonna get that thing together. Get that thing together. So I hope that that was really helpful for you all. I see a lot of comments. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. That's Tim saying we're ready. That's mine as well. Transform into your best self. Ruby Raw said that her group is called the Raw Dolls.
Okay.
Love that. Brittany said, oh Lord organization, help, that she needs help with that. We got a lot of amens and a lot of, that was good. So the comments are really, really great. Hashtag don't be a weirdo.
Don't be a weirdo, y'all.
Following up does matter. Brittany said, come through slides. Presentation. I was very proud of that. I was like, child, this presentation looks good. Okay. That lamos are out here collecting our coins just off the strength of being consistent, even when we aren't. Okay. Everyone, it looks like is in agreement that that was really good. So we're going to do questions. We're probably going to be about 10 minutes over time. So if you all can just stick around with us 10 minutes past our original end time, I would greatly appreciate that so that we can get as many questions in as possible. I know that this was good to you all. But if you have questions, if you can go ahead and put those in the comment box, that would be great. Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments that the slides were good. So I'm glad about that. All right, so I have some questions. If you all have any questions, please put them in the comment box now. So the first question is, what is unique about your business, Kim?
What's unique about my business is that we serve usually bariatric patients who have weight loss surgery. What's unique about it is that these people are on their last leg. Speaking to my experience, we really have tried a lot of stuff. And also it's that I'm here to break myths and I'm here to break down barriers because Black women are having weight loss surgery, but a lot of Black people in our community are afraid to talk about it. So I wanted to make sure that one, I make sure I represented the people well. And then also two, really bring to light like what it takes to have weight loss surgery. But then also it's more than just about weight loss surgery. I also make sure I help support women or make sure I'm a representation in my career field in communications, making sure that people know like weight discrimination is a thing. Like, hey, in the corporate world, I am the advocate. I am the people speaker, upper, you name it, I'm there, okay? So it's not just about weight loss surgery, it's about so much more. So I have different spaces, but as of right now, it's just being an advocate for Black African-American women who are mostly my base and making sure that they have a voice and that they also know that they have options. I'm not saying weight loss surgery is for everybody, but however, what I'm saying is it is an option because we know one of our friends, he was over 600 pounds. He had a heart surgery. He needed weight loss surgery. If we didn't have weight loss surgery, my friend would not be here today. So I wanted to make sure that people know it's an option. I don't care. You can see it as the easy way out because it's not easy. Nothing about my life is easy. I have to live this lifestyle and I want to make sure that people know about that.
Oh, that was good, girl. You almost brought a tear to my eye, child. I love that, and I love the fact that your work is so much bigger. We don't talk about weight discrimination. I know that I don't hear very many conversations about that. In terms of in corporate places and stuff like that. And while there are some valid reasons why there may be concern about someone. Not hiring someone or interacting with someone because of their weight is completely, just out of pocket. So thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Can you share, you kind of touched on this, but if there's anything else you want to add, what made you choose this type of business? Because you mentioned that your background is in communication. One of the reasons why her presentation looks so daggone good is because she has a background in graphic design, website design, photography. Like, this got some skills and stuff, okay? But what made you choose this type of business over the others that you started? Because this isn't your first business. And, over the other skill sets that you have that you're obviously very good at.
Right. So what made me choose this is because essentially I realized my health is genuinely my wealth. Making sure, because I don't care what nobody say, there aren't enough Black people in the health space. There are not enough Black people in the health space. And I want to make sure that we show up. And then I'm also like, this isn't the end. Like, yes, I'm a nutrition enthusiast, but I'm working in the health space and getting my certifications and getting everything I need to get. Because again, we need to be represented. If we aren't represented, then people don't take enough time to care about us. And so it's more than just about money for me, because it's not like an easy, fix to where I'm trying to get into hospitals. They're more hesitant than anybody. So they just like, sis, we hear you, but you're gonna need to go through like this background check, that background check. So it's more just about service and knowing that I have impacted so many people in the health space, but who's being their advocate when I'm not there? And it's like, what questions can they ask? And so I know those questions to ask, and I know what the process should look like. And so that's why I chose to operate in this space.
Awesome. So you just touched on something. This isn't a question on our page, but I want to, or my notes, but I do want to ask this because someone mentioned this yesterday as well, talking about, even as a new business, because this particular business is new for you. Even though you were teaching us on the growing phase, and I hope that you all hearing Kim's story is a testament to like how quickly things can change for you in your business when you show up. The person that you all see today, I don't know her. And I keep saying that because it's only been a year, but in a year, everything about Kim has changed on so many levels. But you talked about, working with these corporations and this big picture thing. And that's one of the things that I always push my clients to do is like, yes, you can have the individual one-to-one clients, but how can you get the big deals? And I know that's something that, we've been working on and that you're going to continue to work on. So can you talk about just the mindset that goes into saying, I'm going to go after hospitals, even, if I have to get certifications, and what is the mindset behind continuing your education and getting those certifications as well?
My mindset is, if you want to go big, you really have to go big and you have to work harder. Just coming from nothing, you really have to create that big mindset network. And y'all, she's telling the truth. It's taken me a year to think about this. I have really just started stepping out. Tiffany told me to do some things a year ago. I'm just now doing. So it was me holding me back. It wasn't Tiffany. It wasn't her non-coaching. Her coaching was great. She would check a sister, and I just was like, okay. And so now I'm just in the space where I'm just like, if you want it, you have to go get it. There is nobody who is going to create an opportunity for you. You have to create the opportunity. There is nobody who is going to go out to the corporations. Nobody knows about Kim at the end of the day yet, but they will know about Kim. Who's been on LinkedIn messaging everybody and their mama? Who's been connecting with everybody and their mother inside of my network in American Express? I have, because you know why? I realize I am the missing piece. People won't know about me unless I get me out there. And yes, it's just me right now. But thinking big picture, I'm going to have a team who's going to be like, hey, have you heard about Kim lately? Somebody has to start somewhere. But at the end of the day, you got to get that mindset down, pat, ship, lack. I'm telling you, put some primer on top of it and paint it and really get that mindset down packed. If you don't believe in you, nobody else will. And that's 100. Okay. That's on period, as they say.
Yes, on period, on Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay? Thank you, thank you. All right, so the next question that I'm going to ask, we have a question from Sophia. I'm not sure if Sophia is on here, but her question is, after starting and setting up your business, what are some important steps to take to ensure success? So after you did the registering and the EIN and all those things, what were some other steps that you took to ensure your success?
I think the one step, of course, is business coaching, but also at the same token, you need to have a plan. And that's the most important thing. If you don't have a plan, what are we doing? And that's like the most important thing. I can say Tiffany can only do so much. You have to have a plan. This is your business. This is your vision. Write down the plan, make it plain, and run with it. So and then also plan big. So make a plan and then plan big. Don't just think of it, oh, I'm just here right now, because I'm here right now. That mentality will keep you here right now. And so I don't think I'll be as far as I have been in business or, as I'm growing, if I didn't think about that. I had to plan, write down the plan. And the planning was also finding resources to help me plan. Because you have the blueprint, but you don't have the know-how sometimes. And so how do I create a plan? Sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what you don't research. So you have to make sure you do that. So plan, you find the resources, and then implement it.
Very good. Thank you so much for that. So our next question comes from Diane. Again, I'm not sure if she's on here, but she submitted this question. The question says, how do I gain a target audience to market to? But before you answer that, I just want to make sure that everyone is clear that there is a difference between your target market and your target audience, right? That the market is the industry that you're in. Your audience is your piece of that industry. Right. So you can, again, and you kind of touched on this, but if there's anything else you want to share, your market is, weight loss, really, like nutrition and weight loss is that really big picture. How did you identify the target audience out of that big picture? How did you say, you know what, this is my piece and these are my people?
Well, I had to break it down, find the personas of people. And this is kind of like just making people up. Now, people think I'm crazy. So I have 4 people who I speak to. This does not come easy. So I'm giving y'all some free game tonight. Okay. So let's say I have 4 people and they all come from different backgrounds. I chose their lifestyle. I chose where they work at, who they are, where do they shop at, what's their biggest problem? And so once I had their biggest problem, I focused all 4 of my people. Let's say their name is Jeremy, Patricia, Charlisha, and Pat. One is on the lower end, all the way making $20,000. She just wants free resources. I'm trying to find how I can serve all these people. And inside of me serving all these people, I find that they have a common problem. They want to keep their life going. They want to lose weight. Maybe Jeremy is an executive and he's white and he just loves watching me. He just loves that, hey, Kimberly is an inspiration. There is nothing that he can use from me right now, but then I can create something for a high level executive for them to say, hey, oh, let me connect with Kimberly this way. Here's how I can support her. I can create a program for him based off of me knowing his needs. How can I help him? How can I serve him? And the same goes for Patricia. She is a lower level client. She makes anywhere from between $20,000 to $30,000 a year. She's just looking for free resources, about weight loss surgery. She wants to lose weight. She really doesn't have a lot of money, but she still cares about herself. So what can I offer her? And then also I have the bougie executive, Charlisha. Charlisha makes anywhere between 75 to 100K. She drives, a nice Range Rover. She is very up. She's a director. She, she wears Louis Vuitton heels. She can buy whatever she wants. Money is not an issue, but she's struggling professionally. She's a heavyset woman. She's about 6'1", 6'2". She's about her business. She doesn't have time to play. How can I serve her? I created her. How can I serve her in my business? So it's just more so about finding those personas and really hashing them out. It does not happen overnight. Believe me, again, this is the person in a year that you're seeing. You're not seeing 6-month Kim. You're not seeing 3-month Kim. You're seeing 365-day Kim, okay? Because I didn't have these people when I first started my business. It's taking me some time because I had to establish who I was and how I wanted to serve. Once I established who I was and how I wanted to serve, then I can find the people and I can serve them correctly.
That's so good. Thank you so much for breaking that down. And I'm so happy we got to meet your 4 people. All right. So we are down to our last few minutes. So in 60 seconds or less, can you please tell us how COVID has impacted your business?
COVID has impacted my business by people, I would say only in the way of people are more reserved because they are like, I don't know who you are. Where are you coming from? And nobody needs a book. And so maybe next year. And I'm like, no, ma'am, your people need this. And so it's affected me somewhat, but also at the same time, it's actually projected me to be more driven in driving my business and saying, hey, I really want to implement this. I need to start following up with people. And also that the connections that I want to make are out there in the world, and I can't do it if I'm just trying to sit behind a computer.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. So the last question, what role has business coaching and consulting played in your success thus far? I know you shared a few things, but if there's anything that you want to add, you can do that.
You need a coach. You need a coach. You need a coach. I would say it's so beneficial because had we not talked through some of my downfalls, had we not talked through just some of the things I was going through, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be as excited and hype about my business. Like I'm really like, even though I'm still working on it, but I'm still just excited. Like, hey, I'm still ready to keep going. And it's just like beyond that, I wouldn't have that if I didn't have a coach or consultant. So it's played a major role in me establishing a business. And then also knowing that a business is something that you have to work at. Essentially, it's not just going to happen overnight. And so I think you really have helped me set the foundation and set the tone in me being a business owner. And because I know now it's possible. It's really, really possible. I don't think I thought that at the beginning. I would just talk like, oh, it's cute and it's fun. But now I'm just like, no, put in the work, get that money and run a business. That's it. And so then that's something that a lot of people don't realize. So you need to get that coach so they can help you with your mindset. Your mindset is so important. It's so important. And people don't realize that. So your coach should help you grow mentally. And they should challenge you, not pacify you, on your goals, on your mission and your purpose. Tiffany has checked me a lot of times, and it don't always feel good. But at the end of the day, again, you're looking at 365 Kim, and I'm telling you, I would not be here had it not been for Tiffany.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Y'all just gonna make me cry, child. But thank you for sharing that. And I think that, again, you hit on it. You need someone who is going to stretch you and not pacify you. My own coaches, I ain't never been pacified. I don't even know what that is. And that's probably why I'm the way that I am with my clients. Like, I've never experienced that, but it has helped me. And even having, friends who hold you accountable as well in the journey is really, really important. So, Kim, thank you so much. Can we please give Kim a virtual round of applause? Thank you so much for everything that you poured out, everything that you taught. I have to go back and watch because there were some notes that I wanted to take, and I was like, well, child, I ain't doing that. But listen, I'm trying to coordinate, make sure everything's flowing. I'm like, this ain't about me right now, but I'm gonna go back and watch the replay because I want to grab some of those things that you talked about. And I think, again, storytelling is one of those things that we really had to push with when we first started working together. But you have taken that, and that is, coaching is like parenting a business, right? And it is a joy when you see your children do better than you, right? So when you see those businesses that you coach or those individuals that you coach excel beyond what you taught them. I mean, I thought that I was talking to you about storytelling, but you taught me something tonight. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm so very proud of the thing that you have done, and thank you for all that you poured out. So, yeah, so Shauna says, I need a coach. I think Kim and I would agree that I would be a good option, but that's all right. But thank you all so very much, everybody who hung out with us. So, Kim, I am going to kick you out of our virtual space, but thank you again so much, and I know that we'll be talking soon.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our second night, and I'm so excited. We've come to the end of the night, and we have learned about storytelling, how to make six figures by having appropriate pricing, whether you have a service-based business or you have a product-based business. So, I mean, you all really have the tools that you need to get to the money at this point and to really grow your business. So I hope that tonight was helpful for you, that it was impactful, that you took a lot of notes. Like I said, I have to go back and watch the replay because there were some things that I want to adjust as well. So as I mentioned at the end of our first session together, what I am offering to all of the participants, everyone who is viewing this, is a complimentary 360 business analysis session. So this session is normally $97, but when you visit that website and use that code that is on your screen, you will get that session at no charge. When we do that session, we will assess your current standing in business, talk about some of your goals, and how we can start to move you toward those goals. So my hope is that all of you all will take advantage of that. I know that some people registered last night, and I hope that some more people will register tonight and even tomorrow night. But please note that that offer expires on January 7th. So if you don't claim it by, what is the 7th? If you don't claim it by Thursday, then that's just going to be what it's going to be, okay? Also, you all can join the Six Figure Society. So as I have mentioned quite a few times, we have limited availability, limited spots available for all of our programs. And right now, you can take advantage of the 2020 rate. On February 1st, 2021, the investment for the Six Figure Society programs will be increasing. So if you want to get one of those spots and if you want to take advantage of the 2020 rates, you want to make sure that you do that in this month. If the spots fill before January 31st, and they just won't be filled, and you'll have to wait until enrollment opens again. So again, if I were you and you know that you need help and you've heard what these women have talked about, all of these things that they are teaching to you are things that I taught them or that I walked with them through. So you all have examples and you can see what happens when you get the proper support that you need in your business. So again, please take advantage of the complimentary 360 business analysis session. And if you already know what you want to do and you're ready to go, then head on over to the Six Figure Society and join us today so that you can take advantage before all of those spots fill up. All right, tomorrow is our last day. We will be live again at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The hope and prayer is that we won't have any technological issues so we can start on time and get you guys off on time. But thank you so very much for sticking with us and, supporting us tonight. And I look forward to being live with you all again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we talk about scaling your business. So from growing to scaling. I love you all to life, and I'll see you tomorrow night.